Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Slick and today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of designing on Roblox and how to make Robux by designing on Roblox. This is going to take you through the basics of MEDIBANG Paint Pro, which is one of the best softwares out of all softwares because it's free and it has all of the same things that things like Adobe Photoshop would have, and it's the best designing software on the market in my opinion, and it's completely free, so you don't have to pay anything for it, and how you would upload, how you would create groups and things like that. Okay, so here I have opened a just basic Roblox template. It's the basic template, not the advanced one. If you don't know what an advanced template is, you don't need to worry about it. There's a whole lot of different ranges to designing, but this is like the most simple thing, and then you just upload it straight from here. And I'm going to be teaching you all about this. If you would like this template, it is in the description. It'll be a link and you just have to follow a few steps and then you will get the link to this, and then anything else in the future will all be in that link. So once you've done it once, you'll never have to do it again. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is open it up by going onto MEDIBANG. You want to X out everything that pops up, and then you want to go to File and you want to go to Open, and then you just open your template. And then here I am here. I have done nothing so as of yet, and I'm just going to be going through all the basics. So first I'm going to start with these tools over here and the ones that you'll need to know. So this is the brush tool. This is where you'll do most of your designing and drawing your outlines and colouring in, etc. This is the erasing tool, which obviously you use to erase things. This is the move tool, which you use to move things. This is the bucket tool, which is like a paint bucket. So you could just like click that and a certain area would all colour in. Like for an example, like that whole area then colours in, but nowhere else. This is the select tool. This is basically when you select a certain area, and then if I was to colour, it won't go outside of that area. And then if I clicked again, it wouldn't have went outside that area. Then we have the eyedropper tool down here, which is a tool that you can use to select different colors, as you can see them popping up here in the color channel, and you can select different colors from your template, or if you're using a reference image, you could select from a reference image, etc. Now up here we have all our colors. This is where you can adjust all colors, and along here you can adjust the range or what color you're kind of going for, and then this is like the shade of that color almost. And then down here we have brush preview. You don't need to worry about that too much for the minute. But down here then we have all our brushes. The main brush that you will use is the pencil brush, and you will be using that on 2. You don't need to do anything there, I just needed to click something. So you'll be using that on 2, and that will be for most of your designs. When you're drawing, you're going to be using that on 2, and it will most likely be in black that you'll be using that. Then up here at the top, when you have the brush tool selected, you will see this tool, which is called a crisscross snap, and basically that means if you select any point, you can draw a straight line, landscape or portrait, and it will just automatically be straight. And then the other tool I like to use is the curved ellipse. This is for when you're drawing a neck hole, so you could draw on like this, and then you can just drag around here, and then that would be like a neck hole. Also, when you're zooming in and out, if you're using a mouse, you would be scrolling in. So if I'm scrolling backwards on my mouse, it's scrolling me in, and if I'm scrolling forward on my mouse, it's scrolling me out. Or you can just click up here in the corner to zoom in or zoom out, fit it to your screen, whatever you want to do. All of them are here. Also, then if you want to zoom in here and then you say you want to move to a specific point up here in the corner, you can see I'm clicking it and I'm moving it, and that's how you would do all of that. Then over here we have our layers panel, which if you're any bit familiar, you will know about designing. And this is very important. So there are a few main tools down here that you're going to need to learn. So the first thing is the opacity tool. Opacity is basically how opaque or how visible that image is. So if it's 100% visible, you're able to see it. If it's 0% visible, you're not going to be able to see it. And then it can just like slowly go down the spectrum. Then here you have the blending modes. This will be useful for when you're shading. You don't really need to know much about these in specific tutorials. If you're watching them in the future on my channel or any other channels, they will tell you what blending mode to use. You don't really need to know much about them. Protect alpha, you don't need to know anything about. Okay, so for an example of how to use clipping, if I make a new layer here and I'm just going to select the watercolor wet brush because that's what I know is good for coloring. And say I drew this and then I colored this all in black. So this is my little black box here. Then if I add a new layer here, this is the new layer button. I'm adding a new layer and then I'm clicking clipping. If I go ahead and want to draw green over this, it won't go outside of that black box. But if I have clipping off, you'll be able to visibly see everything outside that black box. Then next we have lock. So lock basically means if I want to lock my template layer so I know I'm not accidentally drawing on that, and we'll come back to why you can't draw on the template layer later. That wouldn't let me, it wouldn't allow me. See here, I'm pressing to draw, and because it's locked, it's not going to let me draw. And then to this bottom section, we've already touched on it briefly, but this is the add layer tool or new layer, and this is the duplicate layer, which say I wanted 2 of these Roblox templates, which you would never really need. You can click duplicate and then there'll be a new layer, and to delete you can just press the bin button, and then here you have the merge layer button. So say if I had 3 of these layers and I wanted to merge it to make it all one layer, I could click here and that will merge them all together. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the basics of everything like brushes, and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a very basic crop top. So for this I'm going to be using the pencil tool at 2, and an important step is to make sure this is selected, and this correction is on 40, because it is really easy to draw when your correction is on 40, but when it's not, it's going to be very hard. Now luckily we're not going to have to be doing much of drawing today, we're not going to be doing much drawing, but what we're going to do is go down here to this add layer button. Then we're going to click and hold on this layer above it, and then drag down so it's under this layer. Now this layer here is going to need to be locked, so then we know we're not going to draw on the template, and then if we draw on this layer, it goes under this main layer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the color that I would like. You select a color by going over here and then dragging down. Because we're doing an outline, I'm doing black, and I would recommend you black for the moment, and you'll be able to change that layer, which I will show you. I'm going to be making the bottom part of the crop top, so I want to know exactly where I want to draw along the crop top. I'm going to be using this crisscross snap, which if you remember, draws the straight lines, landscape or portrait. And I'm going to be clicking this here, and then I'm going to be dragging across and dragging back. See the way it went under? It went under this, but that is our bottom line, and that is quite low. So if I wanted this to be a bit of a higher crop top, this is how I would recommend you to make it, like about there. Not so high that it's up halfway, but not so low that it's down 3/4. So just below half is probably perfect. And that is a mistake I used to make a lot. Now, here is where the big bit comes in. We're going to draw the neck now, and this is the bit that I find really difficult. Now, if you don't have this already, all you have to do is just click and hold, and then it will show up. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to do, and then you can adjust it here. Now, you can see the way if I pull this out, it drags it out like this. Pull this out, it drags it out like this, etc, etc. Now, for my neckline today, what I'm going to be using is a neck that's about like this, and then I'm just going to drag this up a little bit, so it's like a kind of oval neckline, because that's what I would like. And then all you have to do is stick to this outside point. So just click and hold and then drag along and around. And then you can click the X up here, and there you have your perfect circle. I know you might think, well, that's very big, but I promise you, you need to make it big. You always need to make it bigger than you think, because you don't realize how much the neck is needed. And if you make it too small of a neckline, it's going to look really bad. Now what we need to do is we need to color in this. So we're going to create a new layer here, and then we're going to drag under, and then I'm going to drag and select this tool here. So I'm going to select the select tool, and then I'm going to drag along, clicking and holding to this point. Then I'm going to select my brush again, and I'm going to scroll down until I see watercolor wet, and then I'm going to drag this up to 80, which is the one I have here, and then I'm going to select my color of choice. My color today is going to be a pastel green, just because I think that's really fun. And we're just going to color it in, and don't worry about that neck, we will fix it in a minute. So that is the color, and then all you have to do to deselect this is click here and then click again. Now if you missed a spot like this, you can just grab your brush and then make it a little smaller and then just add it back there. Again, just using my mouse to zoom in and out, but you can also use up here. Now our problem is this. Obviously we don't want color in the neck. So I'm gonna grab my eraser tool, still using that same watercolor wet brush at a small, I'm using 10, and we are just going to click and hold and drag along so all of this slowly disappears. And then when that's done, you have your little base for your shirt. Now, if you're seeing any spots like this, don't worry about it. This is my template, and all you have to do with the template here is just grab your eraser tool, make sure to unlock your template layer, and then just erase like that and then lock it again. I don't know why that's there. I'll try get that fixed. If it is still there, just erase it and let me know in the comments and I will fix that for you all. Now, the next thing that you want to do is add some sort of shading. Now we will get onto the arms in a minute and we will figure that out, but we're just going to do this whole top part first. And shading is really easy, so please don't get nervous. This is going to be a really easy step. So you're going to add a new layer, then again dragging down, so the outline layer is on top of it, but the color layer is below it. And now using clipping, we're going to select clipping on our layer that we just created. So the arrow is pointing right down to this layer. Now what we're going to do is grab a darker version of this color. If you don't have this color selected right now, go to your eyedropper tool and then select the color and it will pop up. And then just drag this down until you have a color that is darker than the one that you already had. Now we are going to be doing a thing called box shading. Using our tool here, which makes our lines straight, you can just drag down on all of these points. So all of these points where it goes off of the template like this, you can see the way I'm doing it, we're just box shading it. And box shading is a very common technique and it's really easy to do, and I will show you how it works and what it does in a few moments. Now, there's also a certain layer of shading that you would want to use if it's for a particular demographic of gender. I can't say this on YouTube, but you would just draw it like this and I think you will all understand that that is what you need. Now that we've done all this, I just want to do some final touch-ups here, just making sure you have it all shaded like that. So that's what it should look like. Now what we are going to do is click filter here at the top, Gaussian blur, and then drag it out to about a 5 or a 6. I'm just going to be using a 6. Now, if you think that layer is too dark or it just looks a bit weird to you, you can close down the opacity a bit. Just drag down the opacity a little bit if you feel it's a bit too harsh shading. So I'm going to drag it down a little bit and I think that's good enough shading for now. Now that we have done this bit, I know this is very simple, but we're going to go down and we are going to do the arms. Now, I'm going to speed up this arms part, but I'm literally just doing them whole steps, the whole same steps with the arms, just selecting the same layer that we did for the outline of the top bit, and I'm going back to our pencil brush and I'm going to be drawing the line across as a short sleeve in the color black, and then I'm going to be coloring it in, doing the box shading at all the points, and then I will be back. Okay, now I am back and we are going to be changing the color of the black outline because obviously it looks a bit weird. So I'm going to be dragging to a color that I think is going to be nice, bearing in mind this is adjustable. I'm going to be creating a new layer and dragging it on top of the outline layer, but making sure it's not above the template. And I'm going to be using clipping again. Then we are going to go to our watercolor wet brush and make it about 70 or 78. Then I'm just going to draw along the areas where the black template is. And it's going to change the color of the line. So I'm just going to be using this darker green color. I think that it's a fine color and I think it looks really good. So I think that will work. And then that is your basic shirt. That is as simple as it can get. Obviously you can add PNGs, you can add more advanced shading, and that will obviously make your designs better. And obviously you can add different things or reduce shading or do whatever you want. But this is like a very, very simple design. Now I'm going to be showing you everything about putting it on Roblox and how much everything costs. So for an example here, I'm going to be using a group here that I have and I own called Bodied Couture, and it has 13,000 members. And what I'm going to be showing you is if I go here and I create or manage a group, and this is how you would upload it. You can go to your group or whatever you want, or you could click discover, or you could click create and then go to shirts or pants or whatever, and then you can click choose file, select the file, and then it costs 10 Robux to upload. So it costs 10 Robux for you to upload any item on Roblox. Now this did change. You used to just have to have some sort of builders club or premium, but they took that away. So now you just need to pay 10 Robux. If you can buy 80 Robux, that means you can get 8 clothes, and I am more than happy to support all of your groups. So if you end up making clothes and you want to comment them below, I would love to check out your groups. I would love to buy some things from your groups. I want to see what you're making. I want to see all your creations. And even if you didn't learn a lot from this tutorial, but you still are doing designing, make sure to comment down your group. I will be happy to join. I'll be happy to check out your clothes and buy some if I think they're nice. And thank you so much for watching this video. I really, really do appreciate it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and comment down below what you would like for the next video. Thank you so much, and goodbye.